she gets hungry for dinner at 8. She loves the theater and never comes late. She never bothers with people she hates. That's why the lady is a tramp.
Hello, everybody. This is your old pal Double T coming to you from the Double T Podcast Studios, and you are joining us on the Double T Podcast Network. Welcome in, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start off today's show by reading you something that I thought was quite interesting, and this is a good explanation to people who do not believe in the Electoral College. It's a 39-second read, and you might want to pass it on. You can grab it from the transcript after the show. First, as always, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps expand our show and send our videos to others to see and hopefully like and expand our channel. In their infinite wisdom, the United States founders created the Electoral College to ensure the states were fairly representative. Why should one or two densely populated states speak for the whole country? The following list of statistics has been making the rounds on the internet, and it should finally put an end to the argument as to why the Electoral College makes sense. Do this and share this. It needs to be widely known and understood because I don't think people really understand and argue with you, well, hey, Hillary won the popular vote by 1.5 million votes, and, why did Trump become president? This is why. There are 3,141 counties in the United States. Trump won 3,084 of them. Clinton won 57. There are 62 counties in New York State. Trump won 46 of them. Clinton won 16. Clinton won the popular vote by approximately 1.5 million votes. In the 5 counties that encompass New York City, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Richmond, and Queens, Clinton received well over 2 million more votes than Trump. Clinton only won 4 of these counties. Trump won Richmond. Therefore, these 5 counties alone more than accounted for Clinton winning the popular vote of the entire country. There are 5 counties that comprise 319 square miles. The United States is comprised of 3,797,000 square miles. When you have a country that encompasses almost 4 million square miles of territory, it would be ludicrous to even suggest the vote of these who inhabit a mere 319 square miles should dictate the outcome of a national election. Large, densely populated Democrat cities, New York, Chicago, and LA, do not and should not speak for the rest of the country. And it's been verified and documented that these aforementioned are the majority of the nation's problems foremost. Well, this took a little more than 39 seconds. However, it gives you an opportunity to understand the Electoral College and its purpose. I mean, California is 45 electoral votes. New York is 41. Illinois, I believe, is 11 or something like that. However, in what I looked at this morning, and I looked on a site called Election Time, and they take polls, the most current polls from the most reliable polling sources like RCP, Rasmussen, and they also go back and they factor in going back as far as Obama's first and second term, how well everybody has performed in the states. And they look at Obama's 2 terms, then they go ahead and they look at Trump's victory, they look at Biden's victory, and now they're forecasting for 2024. The map has certainly changed, and there are some states that it appears, based on today's polling, that tells us that Trump is very close to flipping Virginia. It wouldn't surprise me if he flipped New Jersey. New Jersey is close to going to red. There's a lot of problems out there with Bob Menendez and all the scandalous stuff that he's going through. There's good possibility. It's going to be tight, but there's a good possibility. Now, Kamala picked Tim Walz, who was governor of Minnesota. If she had not picked Walz, Trump would have won in Minnesota. Right now, she's hanging on by about 7 points. She should be killing him in Minnesota, but she is not. So, right now, the way the map looks, it looks like it's going to be an electoral landslide for Trump. That's today. It's 50 days away. Who knows what's going to happen? The commercials are flying. But what bothers me most about the vice president is her inability to state what her policies are, her ability to not answer a direct question. In that travesty of what they call a debate on ABC last week, that was by far, and I've been watching presidential debates since 1976. That was a travesty. That was a 3-on-1 gang up. She knew the questions and she still couldn't answer the questions. The first question she was asked was the old Ronald Reagan line, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? And she couldn't answer the question. And she went into this thing about having an opportunity economy and just basically blowing smoke up everybody's ass. And that's all she does. She did a sit-down interview with CNN. It was an hour time slot of which they only spoke for 18 minutes. And she had to bring a security dog with her. So out of the 18 minutes, she only spoke for 16 minutes. And she knew what the questions were going to be, and she still didn't answer a direct question. Let's get to the vice presidential candidate. He was only asked one question. and that was about misrepresenting his service to the country. Now, I'm not denigrating the man's service to the country. He served in the National Guard for 24 years honorably. However, pictures of him standing with a rifle, an assault rifle, and he has been claiming for many years that he fought and that he carried weapons of war in wartime, and it's just not the case. So when you tell a lie for so long, maybe you start to believe it, but to me, that is certainly a case of stolen valor. Now, there's laws against stolen valor in this country. They'll never prosecute a Democrat, let's face it. Then they didn't talk about his DUI, where he claimed to be deaf, so he couldn't hear what the officer was saying. They didn't talk about his views on children getting transgender surgery at young ages. They didn't talk about his mandate to have female products, tampons, put in every men's bathroom in Minnesota, which gives him the name Tampon Tim. Okay, how left is that? I mean, are these the people that can't answer questions? A woman that has just upside down flip-flopped on every single issue she has stood for all her political career. Is this the group of people that we want to lead our country? This woman has risen to, she wasn't elected to run for office. She gathered 0 delegates. She was anointed. When she tried running in 2019, I don't even know if she got 1 delegate. But she was Obama's pet project. And as you know, we are going through our 3rd term of Obama. And he wanted her there. And how did they vet Tim Walz? I mean, these people believe that they walk on water. Now listen, I'm fair. I'm not telling you that Donald Trump is an altar boy. By no means. But let's take a moment and realize that we have a very unique situation in front of us. And that situation is this. We each party has a candidate that has a record. And we have a record of Trump being president for 4 years, and we have a record of Kamala being vice president for close to 4 years. And we know that Joe hasn't been up to it mentally. So who's been making these decisions? You got to figure she's been involved. She's the last person in the room, remember? She said it. Afghanistan, were you the last person in the room? Yes. That was a total disaster that led to a lot of other things happening. Okay? When Biden walked in the door, He started a chain reaction, then he lost it, and she finished it. And what we have right now is a world on fire, and we are on the precipice of a world war. And if we don't get this shit straightened out quickly, we're going to have some big problems, because the Middle East is ready to blow up. And if Russia moves any further to success with Ukraine, watch out, Europe. So here's the records. Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. She was a district attorney. She was an attorney general. She was a senator. She's been the vice president. Throughout her history, and it's documented, it's on film, you can look, she has had radical left viewpoints. She supports the Green New Deal, which, sorry folks, doesn't work today. Mandate on electric vehicles, mandate on killing fossil fuels, no fracking. Now, all of a sudden, the woman who ran as an Asian woman for Senate, and this is on tape, you can look it up, and when Trump made the comment, it was a big racist thing, she became black. So now she's flip-flopped on everything. Trump made a joke, said I should send her a MAGA hat. She's taking all my positions. Bernie Sanders, who's gotten screwed twice by the Democrats, he got well taken care of, though, financially. Turned around and said it. He was honest about it. These people don't hide what they're doing. He was very honest. He said she's doing what she needs to do to win the election. Once she wins the election, she's going back to her old policies. And if she does that, baby, watch out. Gas right now is double the price that it was 4 years ago. It costs me 50% more to buy groceries. Rents are going up sky high. People can't afford to buy houses, let alone build them. Inflation is high. People are going backwards, not forwards. And when Trump says the American dream is dead, he's not lying to you. Now you go and look at Trump's record. All right? Tell me what was wrong when he was president. We didn't have migrants running over. We didn't have 20 million migrants in the country. We didn't have government money taking care of all of these people when we can't even take care of our own. Now she wants a border wall? For 8 years, she called it a vanity project that wouldn't work. Now she wants it. And we've got in Colorado, we've got that Trent de Agua, the gang that's taken over these slumlord apartment buildings. I say bring in the National Guard and throw them all the hell out of the country. When Trump was president, gas was $1.87 a gallon. My dollar went further. My 401k was worth more. My life was a lot easier. There were no wars in this world. Historically, the Abraham Accords in the Middle East, the Nord Stream pipeline was shut down in Russia. He had so many sanctions against Russia, they were broke. He had Iran choked. Hezbollah choked. Hamas choked. The Houthis choked. They were all broke. Afghanistan, yeah, he wanted to get out of there too. He had it down to 2,500 soldiers. He would have gotten out of there. But not the way they did. I've gone through this in a different podcast of how that should have happened. Nobody should have died. And we shouldn't have left $85 billion worth of equipment there. And if we were going to leave it there, we should have bombed the shit out of it so it wasn't worth anything. Let's talk about the 2 assassination attempts on President Trump in the last 2 months. The first one in Pennsylvania, I'm telling you, you haven't heard the whole story. None of us have. There's problems with the United States Secret Service. There's big problems there. And it starts at the top. And the guy that took over for the one who resigned, he got to go too. The whole leadership has to go. You got to clean house. And I mean clean house. There's plenty of decent, same thing with the FBI, same thing with the CIA, the Department of Justice. The whole thing needs to be cleaned out. And it's the same thing with the Washington bureaucrats. This is the whole reason why they hate Trump. And they're going to hate Vance too. These are guys that are in favor of term limits. They're shaking their trees. They're worried that they're going to lose their money. And that's the problem. It's power and money. This is what it's all about. So you haven't heard everything about that first assassination attempt. And now you got this Ryan Wesley Routh, who is alive. They captured him alive. Let's see if he goes into the Epstein type cell where the cameras don't work. And he accidentally slips and falls on a bar of soap and cracks his head open. Let's see what information we get out of him. I mean, we got some information now coming out. We have his arrest record. We have information that just came out today from his girlfriend. You got to explain something to me. It doesn't make any sense on his arrest record. In 2002, he was arrested for having weapons of mass destruction. How does this guy get a gun? How does this guy get a driver's license? How is this guy allowed on an airplane? How does this world, this United States anyway, how does this United States make any goddamn sense to anybody anymore? It's confusing to me. And we need leadership that will get to the bottom of it. And it's not a one-term leader we need, which is why I'm very happy that Trump picked a young, energetic guy like J.D. Vance, who I think can carry on what Trump wants to finish. I look forward to the October 1st debate between Vance and Tim Walz. I do believe J.D. Vance will mop the room with him. I'm disappointed that Kamala won't do another debate with Trump. Getting back to the ABC debate, I mean, you know the story that the, the female moderator was Kamala's sorority sister. Uh, the president of ABC's or the chairman or something is best friends with Kamala's husband and introduced them, and everybody's a big happy family. And what the hell was David Muir thinking? I used to like David Muir, but he just came right out of the Brokaw Mall and mold, and he disappointed me greatly. I'll never watch ABC News again. If you want a good place to find news, groundnews.com is a good source because they get stories from like 50 sources and they put them together. You can see them. It's really good. There's small fee involved in it. If you get their small plan, it's like $5 a month. It's absolutely great information, and it's non-biased news because everything else is biased. So where do we stand now? I am sorry to say that I don't know who's behind these assassination attempts on Trump. I thank the Lord that these two attempts were by people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. But President Trump's got to be very careful. If I was President Trump, I would out of my pocket hire additional security to watch the watchers. I stole that one from Megyn Kelly. Need somebody to watch the watchers. Trump's round of golf on Sunday in Fort Lauderdale was unplanned, not on his schedule, and off the record. Yet that guy laid in a sniper's nest for 12 hours waiting to fire those shots. How did he know? There's a leak. There's got to be a mole in the Secret Service. There's got to be a mole someplace. I'm not quite sure. But something has to be done because, I mean, you can only go to the 9 Lives store so many times. And President Trump is a courageous man. He's doing what he's doing because he loves our country. I mean, who would do this knowing that they could take a bullet at any second? Truthfully. For all you Trump haters out there, think about that question. Who would do this knowing that at any moment they can take a bullet? It's got to tell you something, guys. So, my dear friends, remember that tomorrow is granted to nobody. So if you have an opportunity to stop and smell the roses, I suggest you do so. It is worth it. And if you have an opportunity to do a random act of kindness for anybody, take that opportunity. Because if everybody took that moment and did a random act of kindness for someone, this world would be a much, much better place to live. So until we meet again, this is Double T saying ciao, ciao.
Memories pressed between the pages of my mind. Memories sweeten through the ages just like wine. Quiet thoughts come floating down and settle softly to the ground like golden autumn leaves around my feet. I touch them and they burst apart with sweet memories, sweet memories of holding hands and red bouquets and twilights trimmed in purple haze, laughing eyes and simple ways, quiet nights and gentle days with you.